Last time a caterer told me they'd found something buried in the garden, but wouldn't tell me what it was. It took me 15 minutes to hunt down the head caterer, who was pale and clearly very aware of the family politics swirling around my wedding. He pulled me aside, glanced around like we were about to commit a crime, and whispered, "It's a box. Old. Metal. We didn't open it. Your grandmother told us to leave it exactly where it was." My grandmother, of course. I marched straight to the garden, in my robe and half-done makeup. And sure enough, there was a patch of dirt near the rose bushes that had clearly been disturbed. The box was gone. Inside the house, voices were raised. I followed them to the library and found my grandmother, my uncle, and my fiancé in a standoff. My uncle was holding the box. My grandmother was seated, perfectly calm, like she'd orchestrated the whole scene. My fiancé just looked trapped. When they saw me, the arguing stopped. My grandmother said, "Since you're the one about to inherit, you might as well know the truth." She nodded at my uncle, who slammed the box onto the desk and flipped it open. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all tied with ribbon, all addressed to my mother. The handwriting was my grandfather's. Except my grandfather died before my mother was even born. The letters were love letters. They talked about a child hidden for her protection, about keeping the bloodline safe, about trusting no one except family. The last one was dated exactly 9 months before my mother's birth. My brain felt like it was buzzing. "Are you saying—" My grandmother didn't flinch. "Your mother was illegitimate, but your grandfather insisted she be treated as rightful blood. The letters prove it." I asked why it mattered now. That's when my uncle leaned in, eyes cold. "Because the inheritance rules only apply to legitimate descendants. Without those letters, your mother's branch, your branch, wouldn't even be in the running." The truth clicked into place. My uncle had wanted the letters gone so that he would be the sole heir. My grandmother had kept them hidden all these years, buried in the garden, to protect my mother's claim. And my fiancé? He'd met with my uncle because my uncle told him the marriage would drag him into a legal nightmare. Apparently, my uncle tried to bribe him into convincing me to postpone, long enough for the letters to be destroyed. The worst part? My fiancé had considered it. He admitted it, said he didn't want to get caught in the crossfire. The wedding didn't happen that day. Not because of the estate, not because of the letters, but because I realized I couldn't marry someone who would even think about choosing self-preservation over me. I signed nothing. My grandmother smiled at me as I left, almost like she'd been testing me the whole time. The estate is still in the family. And apparently, so are the secrets. Sometimes I wonder if keeping it was worth what I lost that day. But then I remember my grandmother's last words to me before I drove away. "Now you understand. The land never belonged to us. We belong to it." And somehow, that scares me more than anything.